the words that I've been really obsessed with and intrigued by over the last couple of years is this word maturity. To me, maturity is something to the extent of sacrificing your current self for something else or for someone else. One of the things, I'm not trying to toot my own horn from this next phrase, when I say it with humility, a lot of times people have said to me over the last 9 years or 7, 8 years after graduating college, people will say, you're wise beyond your years, or you seem older than you are. And a lot of people will say that to other people too. It's not just me, right? But what do you actually mean by that? To me, it's like they are saying that because you're making mature decisions. But what does that actually mean? That means that you're not acting to please simply the current version of yourself. You're acting on behalf of your future self or someone else. Somebody who is mature maybe is not going to spend all weekend long drinking alcohol and just partying and having fun with their friends. Because it's like you're indulging the current version of yourself, probably at the expense of the future version of yourself. Somebody who is mature will say no to that final drink. Will say no to that last drink that everybody else is having because you're thinking of the future version of yourself tomorrow, so you're not going to feel as bad, right? So a mature decision is a decision that is neglecting maybe the comfort or the pleasure or the instant gratification and happiness of the current version of yourself for the sake of something else or someone else. And that someone else might be the future version of yourself. That somebody else might be a friend, a family member. That something else might be a cause or whatnot. I kind of think like generally in the overarching scope of life, how do we mature? How are we forced to make decisions that are, forced is kind of an extreme word. Would want to edit that out. I'm not probably going to, but how do we mature over life? Meaning, how are we put into situations where we don't act simply on behalf of the pleasure of the current version of ourselves, but we're acting on behalf of something else or someone else. When you're young, you don't have any responsibilities for the most part. You go to school, you play sports, you do your extracurricular activities, you do whatever. In college, like same thing. You don't really have that many responsibilities. Once you get out of college though, then let's say you get a significant other and then you get a spouse. When you have a significant other and a spouse, you learn pretty quickly that you can't just act on behalf of the current version of yourself. You have to sacrifice a little bit of the current version of yourself for your significant other or for your spouse. And then if you have kids, that is the ultimate, again, not forced maturity. When I have kids, I'm doing so voluntarily, right? But like when you have kids, oh my gosh, are you going to mature quickly? And if you don't mature quickly, you're going to be in big trouble or you're not going to be a good parent, etc. But when you have kids, you have to make a lot of sacrifices. You have to sacrifice a lot of the current version of yourself, that pleasantry, the happiness, the doing whatever it is that you want to do for the sake of your children. And so then you are going to mature pretty darn quickly. And so maturity to me is having the ability to not make decisions simply on the behalf of the current version of yourself and that person's happiness and current joy and current pleasure and current instant gratification, but it's to do it for somebody else or something else. And that could be the future version of yourself, or that could be spouse, kids, extended family, clients, what have you. And really what we're talking about is kind of instant gratification versus delayed gratification. But this next part is where it gets really